Nocy te cios. Where you at? I'm gonna have to run up. I guess put it in a charger. Wow, is Instagram even pay? I'm gonna charge in a minute. Have time. I brought these cords out here with me. Hey.
No. What's good? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, all right, that's what's up. The Wi-Fi sucks right now.
So, whatever we talk about now, um, I was saying this to Siri last night too. Like this is just like kind of like an intro. Anyway, this is Maga. Um, and I spoke to you. I did I was actually going through my post last night. Well, it had to be about 2 years ago. Last time I spoke to you.
Yeah, it's been a
Think of
minute.
that.
Well, it's
And
been
we
at
did.
least like a year, I think, because I was traveling with Julio in the States for like 8 months.
We spoke for like 3 hours, and it was like really. It was an interesting conversation, but for people that kind of have had don't aren't familiar with anything like in that world, they would kind of be like I think blind to it. I was trying to think of taking like either one subject or a summary and put it in like a way that's digestible for like a fifth grader. You know,
Yeah, we
we
could
don't have
pick
to
a
do that right
topic.
now.
We could pick
Like,
a topic at any point and do that. I'd be happy to do something constructive with people that way.
but yeah, because like the other day when we were talking, we were all over the place. You know, and I was like, I
Yeah,
couldn't
for sure.
imagine like someone that wasn't familiar listening to that conversation. They would probably think we were speaking Chinese. You know.
That's exactly why I post those conversations, because I get people that will reach out from all over the world and they will actually relate to them and say that they picked up something from the conversation that was important to them. And this is the cool part. They'll share some piece related to the conversation and pick up the conversation and we'll continue it, which is very important. I think everything is connected.
Yeah. Yeah. Um.
But trip off this. You said it's like another language, like speaking Chinese. You know the glyph in Chinese for medicine and music is almost identical, which would explain why when we speak to each other in this so-called other language or Chinese type, right? Like the reference to that is we're basically using our sound healing creation, my sound, like Mason symbolism, my sound. So that's what we're using in the beginning is the word, and the word creates all. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I'm also ADD, so when I ask questions, I'll ask something about one subject, and I'll go and start talking about something completely different. So
I love it.
uh, a lot of it's me
Well,
too. But you're right.
healing is not linear, so you know my conversations are never linear either.
hmm I don't even know where to start right now. So what? I didn't have time to read. Like I was running around because like my mom just woke up. I was giving her meds, throwing stuff in the laundry, like trying, and I was a mess. So I was trying to like skim through like some of the texts. But
Hmm.
what was it that you were saying? So like I have more.
I'm not sure which text you're referring to, but what I would like to do is
Like
start
right
being.
before we went live. hmm
I was saying that I'd like to do more constructive one-on-ones with people, let them know I'm available if they want to call me. I'm going to start doing chats by donation. They can do like $1 a minute and they can expect to have twice as much time as they offer to donate. You know, the whole point is to get people chatting and to help people with anything they might need help with. I have over the years, over 20 years now, reached out to people online. They've reached out to me from all over the world with different questions and different pieces of information that they feel are important to share. And usually it will tie to other conversations I'm having with people. You have
That's
to
crazy, right?
remember,
Yeah, I've
yeah, you
noticed.
have to remember that we are all connected in the collective conscious, right?
Well,
And mem in Hebrew, the waters of creation, ties to the word memory. And even memos and memes, like mnemonics, it was all mnemonics. You know, we used sound to communicate in a different way before, and our communication has really been changed since since the origin of creation. And the whole point is to reclaim that so we can co-create together. So yes, what I would like to do is to invite people like you. There's another person I'd like you to meet who's doing a podcast. And they bring important questions to the table for people that want to be involved in a healthy, constructive way without arguing and without being,
yes.
you know, like dissonant. The whole point is to create harmony. And what is relating to people in general, it is it's degrees of relativity, and we're all related. We're all relatives. It is all
Well,
relative.
let's go back real fast, just in case people are like, well, what does she mean? Was okay. So, like I said, me and Maga spoke first time. It was around the time I think Trump was running for president. It was during the election time, I think.
It wasn't when he was first using my name because that was years ago when I was in
This
Ojai,
was
California.
2020. It was 20. It was during the 2020 election. It was, I believe, before.
No,
Um,
I don't think I talked to you around 2020 around the lockdown. I met you after that.
24. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was 24.
Yeah. Yeah, I met
Uh,
you after that because I was out here in South America already.
so, explain to everyone kind of like who you are, what you do, um,
I'm from
and
San
just start from there.
Francisco. Okay, I'm in South America right now currently because I have family here. But I am from California. I'm from the Haight-Ashbury district of San Francisco. Grew up there, the home of the human guinea pig farm, as it's been referred to, with all of the programming that comes with being a flower child, quote unquote, you know, from the hippie movement of the 70s. All of that is social engineering, and I grew up with a lot of um, friends and family in production, and I was around production growing up in San Francisco and New York and LA and Hollywood. I've lived all over, and I've never fully gotten into the industry. I think for me it was bittersweet to think about and consider because I was always into graphics and production and networking and the arts and performance and had family in production and the arts and it was always interesting because my father did graphic art when I was younger, and I would be on the computer even at 8 years old doing Photoshop and stuff like that. And so I was a tech baby too, You know, I even tested video games like for Nintendo. I was like one of the only girls. I remember testing Mario Brothers and stuff like that because Silicon Valley is right there. But
Yeah.
the point is after integrating with tech and the arts and realizing they were contaminated, I had a concern for humanity and for my family, and I was also healing from generational trauma and abuse, which my name symbolism is tied to both the arts, the root of the arts and the occult, and magnetism and healing and our higher awareness and our DNA, so the macro and microcosm. And the reason for that is the symbolism is so old, it's astrotheology. It ties to the origin of all creation, so it's connected to all things. And when I started sharing this information to heal from my own family trauma, I realized my timeline was a bit sped up because I was talking about things years in advance before they were happening. So people just thought I was batshit crazy, you know? And I
Do
get
you
that.
think do you think
I
that's because
totally
of
get
being from
why.
that area? Like just
I,
being like growing
I
up in
think,
that area and
yes, yes. I think growing up in, so if the name Maga ties to politics and to the Church of Satan hierarchy, and the tie between the two would be Michael Aquino, head of the PSYOPs of America since the beginning of PSYOPs and Project Bazaar and stuff like this.
yeah, if you
This,
guys don't know who
this,
that is, look them up.
yeah. If people don't know what that is, look for "Behold the Pale Horse." Look for the unrevised edition and Bill Cooper and stuff. And the tie to Project Bazaar and the tech is this: the Magician Tarot card rules ether, and it is the Bluetooth symbol above the head of the Magi or infinity symbol or now Meta logo is all the same symbolism of our DNA and our biofield and the ability for them to hack or for us to use our inner creative ability, which would be our mag core or seeding of our magazine or inner magi, which is your DNA. So it can be used against you if you're not aware of this. And it overlaps in many languages and cultures. And as I started sharing information and healing from my own trauma, I realized that my timeline was super sped up. I kept almost dying. And the more that that happened, the more information I would get downloaded and shared with me, and I would share with other people. So for all the gatekeepers out there, remember that the more pieces you share with people, the more tools that you get to use and the more we all level up together. You know, there's no point in gatekeeping humanity when it's at your own detriment. People would literally cut off their own noses to spite their own faces. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now you brought up a point there, like you were saying about well, first off, like the programming. Like so I feel like you growing up over there and family being in that industry, did you get a chance to like see the programming like
Yeah,
firsthand
yeah,
and be like,
yeah.
whoa,
I
like
mean, well, when I say my family grew up in production in different areas of the arts and performance and things, you know, my family's from different cultures, and few of them were even born here, and they had very interesting lives. And I watched them um, as confusing as it was because everyone spoke different languages in my family. I paid attention a lot to nonverbal communication and patterns of communication. And I saw a lot of manipulation around me. For example, when I say, my family was in production, I don't mean like in Hollywood and the movies or when I worked in film and TV production in New York on set. I'm talking about the adult industry. And the adult industry in San Francisco, it's not really like New York and LA. It's much smaller version, but you still see behind the scenes production and manipulation, like for example, being on set for a porno and catering at like 15 years old or something. Like you get, so like I had a very different upbringing. And my stepfather that passed away was an award-winning porn producer
really?
and like a pool king. He played pool and drove a Rolls Royce. And it was like very old world, almost like mafia, where it's
Yeah.
like tied into the origin of San Francisco. I just didn't realize I was so different until until I tried to relate more and more to people, and I would realize that there were good reasons why I could never fully fit in. Like I blame myself for not fully feeling fully committed to being in the industry until later I realized there was very good reason why I protected myself and other people from falling completely for that. And it became obvious when the downfall of Hollywood became mainstream, right? So we're all aware now of the pitfalls of this celebrity worship and idol worship and all of that, but it does tie to the misuse of my name symbolism or influence of your higher awareness in the arts, in religion, in music, in healing. That's what we're
So
talking
it's
about.
all connected. You're saying it's all connected. Whether
Yes, my name
Mhm.
symbolism, Maga, refers to the creator, but it also refers to the ability to create. So not only is it magic, it's the magician. So magic isn't evil itself because it's also your DNA, the magic of your magazine, of your blood, literally. And your estomago, in Spanish, your stomach, ends with MAGO, proves that we are what we eat, we are what we create, what we speak, what we breathe, what we share. And it means to 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 understand that in all creation or speaking or birthing that we do give life, but the seed breaks to give life. So there's that duality in creation. All creation, there's destruction first. The seed must break to give life. So the symbolism represents many things. It's tied to nature. It's tied to the flower of life. It's tied
Symbolism of
to,
your name.
yeah, it's tied to magnetism, MAGA. Maga is feminine in Latin for like source or sorceress, but it's also a nickname for Muhammad, or in Polish, it's unisex for you and both you and I, or you and the one above you, a hierarchical term of respect. That could be source, it could be your immune system, it could be your maker, your mama, your higher power. So it has to do with your higher awareness and the microcosm of your DNA, your macrobiology and microbiology together. Okay, and it is overwhelming at first, but it's not when you understand. It's not my opinion. It's based on the root etymology, which is the study of the words, and the symbolism and numerology, the the syncretism behind all of it, which is the oneness of the overlapping significance of all of that, is simply as explained as the word universe, which is one song, which is definitely the 369 or Om vibration of
Did
all
you read
things,
any?
which is,
Ever read any of Carl Jung?
yeah, I love Carl
Okay.
Jung. I actually have some tattoos I have on my either side of my wrists. I have anima and animus, which are the Latin terms for the psyche, almost like the yin and yang.
Um,
And you have the awareness of how the anima and animus play out in everything that's animated, and we are very complex but also very simple. The human race is not one with ignorance. Everyone's in a rush and in a hurry to be number one, but if you look at the word one, it can be spelled WON, which could be NOW now, right? Reversed, and you understand that you're always in the now and you always can win if you're present. Omnipresence is a gift, and that's what we're talking about. The gift of the Magi, which ties to my name symbolism, and the archetype of the Magi brought gifts to baby Jesus. Of course, there were three of them, and it's tied to Hermes Trismegistus, or Hermes the thrice, the third greatest is your third eye. It's esoteric anatomy also. The third eye symbolism, it will overlap with the numbers and the word Maga a million times. And I can give you examples, but I'm not going to go into it right now. I'm just trying to reference that these things all tie together.
hmm
And in that inner trinity of creation, or your mind body soul connection, it is tied to the ether, it is tied to the sun. Maga also means priest of the sun in Sanskrit, which is even older. So you have priest of the sun, you understand that together we rise, and that root is Ma, or Mag, which is the
And
seed of
can
life and the magnet. and the magnetism within us. It is the magic or magnetism of your magazine or DNA, your blood, and that tie to source.
So your
So
name
that
is where it started. Like it's you grew up in this like abnormal for a normal person
I guess it was
concept.
pretty
Like
it was eccentric. Yeah, like I'll say it was eccentric and I didn't really know because I didn't know what to
yeah.
compare it to,
See,
right?
for me, it's weird because I grew up in New York and I always wanted to be in Hollywood and be involved in making movies and writing and like that was like my dream since I was
Which
young.
is which
And
is funny because I didn't work on well, I did work on movies in LA um by the Hollywood by the LA River and stuff, but mostly I worked on set in New York. So that's
oh,
interesting
okay.
that yeah, I used to work at Grant Wilfley Casting, which did all of the major um like Sopranos was through there and
I
Men in
was
Black and
I was
Spider-Man. We
looking
worked
at
on it
something a
all
few days ago and it was like I think it was early 90s or late 80s. We only had what four stations. It's like NBC, ABC, CBS, and ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. Four stations.
over.
And
They
this,
are all the same thing. They are all the same thing. Like Fox comes out to 666. The World Wide Web comes out to 666 in Hebrew too. You need to understand these things are really all the same thing. It's like a octopus with different tentacles and we you think you've got one, you chop it off and it grows back, you realize you have to find the head of the beast.
the
And
head of
when
the
you
beast.
the head of the beast because the arms will grow back. You need to understand where to aim that I am
What do you
focus.
think the head of the beast is?
Like, when you play video games, for example, there'll be a sweet spot on your enemy where if you hit them just right, it will knock them out completely. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Usually
Yep.
a head blow, like a fatal blow.
Yeah.
So we're all distracted by the tentacles and the many arms of the distraction
Yes.
beast, right? Like two
Mm-hmm.
wings of the same bird, right?
Yes.
With politics
Republican,
and
Democrat.
the Hegelian dialect, where everything is predetermined outcome for it's like chaos, order out of chaos, or the cult of personality, where they'll give you the hero or villain as long as they have your attention.
Exactly. It
Right.
took me a
But
long time to get to that.
if you aim at the head and people are not distracted by the arms of these beasts,
Now
then you
I'm
understand
curious of
it's
like what you think the head is with that because there's a lot of different
that's
people
a good
arguing about a lot
question.
of different things and a lot of
Well,
talk of this online.
that
There's a
is
lot of low IQ talk of it. There's a lot of there's a lot of real talk on it.
this is
But
why we're talking because that is the point is I have a lot of information about what I think it is. I don't usually share my opinion. I will share it, but I'd like to hear other people's
we could talk about this off the live
that
if you
would
want
be
that
good
part.
too. That would be good too because what I'd like to do
Okay.
is hear people I would like to hear people's opinions on where they stand with these things, but I'd like to offer them lots of information to get those conversations going because I know how a lot of it connects. Because MAGA also means connected. It
And
means
this is
all
Matt.
it means
Hold on
all
one
in
second.
yeah,
Yeah, so and MAGA obviously
MAGA,
MAGA
MAGA, MAGA, MAGA,
MAGA became
MAGA,
popular in the
MAGA.
U.S. when Donald
You
Trump
gotta
was running for president.
you gotta remember
MAGA was
that
what they called it. So
if you say MAGA, remember that it's intentionally being mispronounced.
yes, no,
I
this is
want you
what
to
you
know
said,
why.
man.
I want you to know why. If you say
Okay.
MAGA, like mama, and you open up and say ah, like you do when you go to the doctor or the dentist, there's a reason for that. It's tied to cymatics and the throat chakra and the healing aspect of the resonance of the sound. Okay, so when you say ah, maga, that's really how you say my name. That's tied to creation. When you say MAGA and this whole movement where they're trying to
Hmm.
disrespect this symbolism when they have no idea that it ties to their own DNA and their higher awareness and their own magnetism and their own mother
Don't
and
they know though? You
oh
don't
my
think they?
God. No, they do not know that this ties to the goddess symbolism. No, they don't. They don't. The reason for that is because the Magi were adopted by the magistrate and the magistrate ties to the Vatican and the use of the symbolism. They like the dress. They kept that, but they disrespect the goddess. You have to understand that. 100%. They will not give you the origin symbolism. It is perverted, used by people like Crowley. You think that's a perfect example. He's using the black daisy flower. That's my name, tied to the black sun symbolism and the rape of the fucking vampirification of the children and shit like that. That's all looshing. That's all misdirection and booby
Oh,
trap.
but they're not doing that on purpose. Like the using it in
No, they are.
misdirection on purpose.
No, they are. That's what
They-
misdirection is.
So
No, they
they
are.
know what they're doing by it, or are they trying to acquire power?
I'm going to give you an
And
example. Crowley was a drug addict, over romanticized drug addict and pedophile and a piece of shit towards his women, and was really over glorified and probably like MI5 or MI6 or whatever it is. He was proof that the British invasion was not just the Beatles or music. He was tied to this, also the CIA and the origin of the CIA through John Dee and the Magi to the Queen. All that stuff connects through the use of misdirection and magic and the dark arts and infiltration of the arts. And when you know this is the root of the PSYOP movement for America, because it's tied to Michael Aquino, who was a member of the Church of Satan and then left because it wasn't satanic enough to open the Temple of Set, then you know that this ties to Mind War, which was penned long ago by Michael Aquino, and it's called the blueprint of how the world's being run to the ground today. And it ties to Project Bazaar, like I said, and Behold the Pale Horse. And, you know, this whole use of the MAGA symbolism in politics is not new. Reagan used it in a speech before that. And if you know about Atlantis and the Native Americans and even my black Basque bloodline that ties, even though it's French Basque, ties back to the Americas and white natives or whatever, then you understand how this information was downloaded to me was in through my bloodline. Through my bloodline, because I kept almost dying, I was gifted information that I kept sharing with people and learning from them too, which is how I learned even more about my own bloodline and my own connections. And it was from starting with the studying of the root of the word Maga, so not just M-A-G, mag, like magma, the core, right, of the earth or Ma, to create. Ma is a title, it's an initiate of Isis, which Mary Magdalene had. And that means, if you know Isis in Spanish, Diosa Maga, it's Maga. That's Genesis. So Genesis symbolism before Mary and Jesus, the Immaculate Conception, there was Isis and Horus. It's the same symbolism and it's both my name. Mary Maga or Magdalene is the same person. There's an excerpt in Julio Castro's new book, Oracles and Oils, where he references Maga, the female Magdalene, and how there was no Jesus without her. She anointed him. He couldn't be Jesus without being anointed. The anointing is what resurrected him and what saved him and what ultimately didn't save him the final time, because he didn't get the anointing in time, which is the root of misusing the ointments or medicines or pharmakia symbolism and why they use it as our pharmacy logo. The caduceus or double serpent with the cup, right? The pestle and mortar, or the chalice, the cup, is our pharmacy logo. It's also my name symbolism. It's tied to the word pharmakia, the root of sorcery or medicine and healing, but also cursing. And this is why it's used in this movement through Trump. It represents singularity and the transhumanism and warp speed, because it has to do with time travel, because it's also what we believe. And if we can move as fast as we can think or make sound, we have the ability to be singular, which is what they want. The hive mind, black box data, crypto fucking scam that they're doing. Please, people, think twice about crypto. Do you not understand it's your own DNA that you are fucking with? They don't understand. Forgive them for
break
they
that
know,
down.
they know not what they do. Well, our biofield is being used and hacked because we're like antenna. So they're running all of this off our own bodies. All the AI runs off water. What do you think we're made up of? Water, motherfuckers. Wake up. Wake the fuck up. Please. The best way to make your dreams come true is to just wake up. I mean, it's great for me to sleep and regenerate and go recursive and go fractal and heal from all the trauma that I've been through. And I've been able to do that in small doses with eating better and being as a refugee from my own fucking country. This is crazy. As an American, North American refugee from my own freaking country, I had to survive and help other people see what was happening because they were uneducated, because this symbolism is not used in America commonly. This is used in other cultures. Yes, the word Maga is priest of the sun in Sanskrit. In Hungarian, it's a hierarchical term of respect for you and the one above you. It can mean to water or nurture. It's literally the root of the cults or cultivation. So just as we are cult-like, right, in our beliefs, we're still a culture that needs cultivation and connectivity. We need to be able to water the seeds of life somehow, and the water is being taken from us through all the radiation, through all the food, the poisoning, and all that. It's all connected.
So your
Because
name, so
look,
is that where like kind of it started from, and you started seeing the things overlapping from that, like
yeah,
or you
absolutely. As I said, if magic and technology are synonymous because they're indistinguishable by definition, know this. As I've told you of my background in the arts and working in tech as a computer kid and, total gamer and whatever, like being on set and production and always having a camera in my hand, I realized at a certain point, I helped face map the system that's brought down humanity. When I deleted my Facebook, realized I helped face track over 10,000 galleries of people's images and tagged everyone. Do you know how guilty and horrible I felt? This was years before the lockdown. You have to understand it was a blessing and a curse. I was made sick from using this magic or tech, but it was synonymous with my name and the programming that had happened upon me. I could not hate myself. I could not hate my family. I had to learn this forgiveness. I had to know thyself is key. Okay? This is where I learned everything. In dying, in healing, I learned that we are eternal. The dying was not what I thought it was. I kept almost dying. If it kept almost happening, I finally understood the saying, life is like a bowl of cherries. I didn't get it before. I get it now. You don't have just one life. You can enjoy more than one in that bowl of cherries, because that's what happens. Death may not be one time for people. They might come back. You might be crippled. You might have a whole new set of a different algorithm you're working with, but we are eternal. The energy comes back. So yes, when I started noticing things like I would be ridiculed or called blasphemous for sharing my name in a church because it meant witch or sorceress. They didn't understand, and I didn't understand till later. It also meant to heal. It also meant high priest. It also meant mother or truth or seed or body temple. The point is I learned these things later. So I had a lot of adversity growing up. I even had a lot of reverse racism growing up. I come from a mixed family. I was the one that was the ignorant American that didn't speak another language or didn't have thick hair or dark skin. And, I got reverse racism. I got the bad blood within the family where I had to fight for my own DNA and purity within my bloodline because there was stuff happening to me at home and within the house. All of that, when I was angry from that before the lockdown and sharing what was going on, warning people desperately, no one was listening. I kept almost dying. I learned, stop trying to warn them desperately because this is going to keep happening. It was like Groundhog's Day. I had to think, what do I need to do differently to offset this pattern so that it's going back in my direction? Got to stay ahead of the curve. What is the curve? That's the infinity of the Mobius strip that we're on, which is the symbol above the head of the Magi. That 24-hour loop, that infinity strip is also the Bluetooth symbol. It is also tied to your immune system and your biofield. And why I started feeling more and more like it was important to, if I was going to talk about my name symbolism and my healing journey or my family, to put a certain element back into it of healing and love, because I couldn't listen to when I was doing the editing or sharing it, even though it was like an inside joke or conversation with me and God.
Mm-hmm.
When I was almost dying and I was very angry and calling people out in my family, I realized I didn't want my project to be like that anymore. I wanted it to heal other people fractally, because if it was fractal, because Maga also means quadruped in math, literally the quad or the cross, then you have to understand the more you add to it, the more it grows. So I needed to be humble and remove my anger and my hurt, right? And no longer be that victim, so that when other people went through this information, they would have a vibe, even if they didn't fully understand it. But the vibe would be pure, and it would be more of an access point for them to find source. Because the point is, I'm not trying to save anyone directly or help anyone directly desperately anymore. What I learned to do was just share what happened to me and how I went through it, and offer people that connectivity, you know, again, which is baby steps.
You talked
Like, what
about
about Bob?
rushing, being in a rush, and then but being in the now, and essentially, it's a perspective and state of mind, right? Like a sense of being in the now. They say
Well,
we always.
there's a great reference to another Bill Murray movie. I mentioned Groundhog's Day before, but what about Bob? And they both tie together very much for me in my life. I finally understood Groundhog's Day, but I needed to see What About Bob to really get it. And baby steps. You know, we need to remember that if we're in a 24-hour loop and things seem mundane or on autopilot, that's kind of how they want you to be. And there's a way to reclaim your co-creation ability by having the rhythm get back in your favor. Or like in Dune, they say to walk out of rhythm, right? So that the worm doesn't get them. And if you don't want to walk with everyone else and you're not happy about the pace, you don't have to walk with them. You can walk your own way. That's what this is about. It's about people that are not satisfied or happy with where they're at and don't understand why and blame themselves and other people, but they know in their hearts there is something else there. There's another way, there's another option for people. And yeah, it is to create again and have fun, which is to work with the original spark of connection and creation, which is important that we all remember. We are magnetic. We can cultivate life from nothing. Where there's a will, there's a way. Have you heard these expressions? It's tied
Mm-hmm.
to the Magi. It's tied to the use of your hands, your will, your hand-eye coordination, manifesting things. You ever hear the saying, necessity is the mother of invention? Well, again, it's the same symbolism of the mother, and you invent things as you need them because you figure it out. You have to have interest in something. Care is the Genesis principle. When you talk about Isis, and I'm talking about how it ties to Genesis, well, it's about creation from life from the blood and menses even without the male, which is why it ties to immaculate birth, by the way, and this free energy or magnetism. But when you understand that it ties to the gene Isis, not just Genesis, but the gene Isis or manipulation of this, then you see how it can be misused on people. And one of those ways that that manipulation is used, to give you a visual reference, is the symbol of Isis is the wings, and that's the symbol for commercial flight that they used originally. My father used to collect the pins. Every time I would fly, I would grab him the little pilot wings. They don't do that really anymore, but I had a whole bunch of them.
I know you're
And
talking. Yeah.
the point is that symbol was also used by the Nazis. It was because it's the same symbolism they're using of the black sun and my name symbolism. How is it also the black sun? That's a good question. Well, 3/9 is my birthday, which ties to the 369 and the Holy Trinity of creation and the eye in the pyramid and the tetractys and pi, because pi is three. My full birthday is 3977, and pi is 314 or 377. It's the same. It will overlap a million times. But the reverse of the 3-9 pattern, if you do the 9-3, and this is literally, you can go look it up, it's not my opinion, someone shared a piece of information with me, and I said thank you to them. It was actually Logan. I said, thank you, Logan. I know that it's my birthday, but what he said was, do you know 9-3 is Cthulhu? And I said, yes, I do, or Black Sun, and I know that because it's my name symbolism used in reverse, which is like Crowley. The whole Crowley thing is a fucking piece of shit take on the flower of life. It's not the full story. The full story is your DNA. It's the story that tells itself, which is why Maga means itself, aka your cell pH. It means you and the one above you, or your cell pH. Literally. Literally. So when people use this symbolism negatively and it's meant to provoke people, and it is, that's why it's a red hat. Red, like with the bull, the red is supposed to make the bull angry, right? Like red is royalty on the red carpet. It's also blood or ritual sacrifice. It's also the scarlet woman, or Lady of Whore of Babylon, like in Matrix. Did you just look at the woman? Were you distracted by the woman in the red dress? Same thing. Same thing. It's all tied to the same symbolism, but originally it was the goddess and the blood of creation, and that ability to make life from the blood with even out the male. There's a temple in Egypt, the Dendera temple. The Isis symbolism is referencing no male counterpart necessary or needed. It's Alpha and Omega in itself, basically.
ISIS.
So that's why they're going to deny this
So
creation ability from the female, because they're not going to let people know that they don't need male female for natural birth. The whole point is they can create it. They know how to do it. They've been doing it. We've been hybrids from the beginning. If you understand the book of Enoch,
do you think that's everyone? That's all of us? Like every
well,
human?
that's up to you to decide. I don't tell people what to believe. I help them understand this is tied to believing. It's tied to your magnetism or imagination, or something being influenced upon you, like being a trick. It also means trick, or a joke, or to be cursed. Like in Nigerian, Maga is hustle. In Jamaican, it's skinny. In German, Magen is your belly. In Spanish, estomago. It all ties together. You can be cursed of your spirit and made thin. You can become sick or ill if you misuse even your stomach. If you eat the wrong thing, you can't even digest it. That shit comes back around. It's the same symbolism. The Magalim in Hebrew, for example, the circle path, you can see that as your stomach. You can see it as, what you can't stomach, what you put into your inner circle. It will grow, it will affect you, and it can possess you. Just as Gollum, right, was possessed by the One Ring to rule them all. That's your DNA. And if you're not careful, that One Ring, right, that circle can be hacked, and then it's no longer Magalim, the circle path. It's my Gollum, and it's being taken over. But it's the same symbolism. It's still the One Ring to rule them all.
No.
It's all about what you put in the inner circle or believe.
Yes.
So the thing is
I just
about what
keeps
you
talking
asked
about.
me, the thing about what you asked me, and the reason why I don't tell people what to believe is because, look, the book of Enoch and the story with Mary mating with the angels and all that, it was taken out. And it was taken out for a reason. They don't want people to know we were hybrid from the beginning with the tech, or immortals, or fallen ones, or whatever. They want people to be confused, because if they do that, you can believe in a savior, a creator, a hero, whatever. Someone's going to save you. The whole savior complex thing, and yet they deny source. It's weird. It's like they want you to be dependent on big daddy
Yes.
government.
It's yeah, they use God as that, but really God to many people are their God is government. And whether they're
they
consciously or
want
unconsciously.
they don't want you to remember that it's father ether and mother magnetism, and that they're interchangeable, that they work together, and that you have both. And they'll try to make you think that has to do with changing your sex, androgyny and transgender and all that, being gender fluid. No, 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 no. This is about energy, and it's not about physical changing your genitals and your. It's about the unification of energies, the dark and light,
Yeah.
and the understanding of the masculine and feminine within both, and the respect of the
Basically, what
two.
they do though, they'll take something that's good and twist it into something that's evil.
There you
Um,
go. And that's what they did with my name symbolism, which, and my name symbolism, the reason why I'm saying that is because when people hear me say that, they don't understand. I'm talking about your DNA and the respect of your creation and source and higher awareness. And that is important for people to understand how it's being used upon them.
I just I didn't cut you off, so I just if you think it's better for people just to hear it all out and then like that way, then yeah, that cool.
I think
So
the
like,
best thing for people to do is to, if they have questions, to call me directly or ask me stuff, or if they want
it's a
to,
lot.
if they want
It's
to, if they want to participate, they can live.
Mhm.
I don't ever ask them to participate live if they don't feel comfortable, you know.
Yeah. Um, it's a lot of information, like for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, of someone's that's in a position right now where maybe they are under, a psyop where they're depressed because they're in the same chamber algorithm and they're stuck in the same cycle and they want to know how to get out of it or where to start. Um,
I
and
will let people know that I talk to people from all walks of life. I talk to people that are being committed against their will, that are in hospital rooms, that are on deathbeds, that are being trafficked, that are adopted, that are running away, that are trying to get safe, that are just traveling, that are concerned about me, that are really just wonderful people also
yeah,
that bring up great topics and conversations. So it's all walks of life, you know?
yeah, um,
All ages, all backgrounds, all ethnicities, all races, all religions, all people are welcome to try to communicate with me um, at any time. They can try to reach out to me.
yeah. And I try to be the same. I'm interested in human beings. I'm interested in all different types of people. Um, I like to be able to have a conversation with someone that we can completely disagree, but we can sit there and be friends and have the conversation and end it cool afterwards and just
Yeah,
agree to disagree or whatever,
you like to be quite frank. I think it let you live up to your name. And
I just think there's not enough of that. There's more money is made off division and people fighting each other, whether it be left and right or, this race versus that race. There's no money. It's not monetized. But like more people need to
oh,
realize that we have more in common than not. Like all these little psyops of division to fight against the left and the right. And I I I still bought into that in this election, this last election, until I was like, wow, I was just psyop. I talk about it all the time, but I was totally psyop. There is no left and right. This is one thing. It leads to one thing, and I have my opinions on that as like um, yeah, partly secret society, partly, but like I have my opinions on like what that one thing is. Basically, you can call it evil, I guess, but getting technical with it, I think a lot of people's eyes are opening to what they might think it is too, and there's psyops that way too. So be careful if being in that position. The best place would be, I guess, to learn from not even looking at where the evil is, but starting with the positive, right? Starting to connect the
that's
positive.
so right because evil is man-made and it's just live in reverse. They love speaking in reverse. So you're right. You just have to reclaim your ability to live the way that you want to live and respectfully towards other people. Exactly.
And
And thank you to the person that added me.
that was something
Like,
that was told to me that was the only thing that clicked for me, like growing up, where someone said, don't concentrate so much on stopping the bad, but start adding the good, and you'll see the bad start to fall away. It's a process.
absolutely. So
Um,
that's what I'm talking about with co-creating. If we stay ahead of the curve, that just means we're creating at a pace that the algorithm will have trouble keeping up with. Okay, so
I get
you
that.
got to keep your writing that you've been doing and you're speaking to people privately with that is very important. It's the same thing that I'm doing. It's offering sound healing and creation
Yeah.
collaboratively with people at their own level of interest, and participation
Hmm.
is only required at their level of interest. That's
I
the
s-
whole point.
yeah, that
Yeah.
exactly. I saw that. So it's essentially the same thing, the same. Yeah,
And
it's
I would love to do some art with people, some drawing exercises and some written examples of this symbolism that is used in visual exercises that
the
I've also done
situation.
with children and with people from other cultures, because it's a nonverbal type of communication.
I think we should have just like an hour on just the symbolism at some point, and just
Let's
like
do it. We'll have an art night.
because that was a good like you just threw it out there. So like now I think we should like break it down into like a few different, and focus on certain aspects of it that you feel make like classes kind of, you know what I mean? Like short intro classes maybe,
Absolutely,
not just like
absolutely.
it is. I know
We
that was a
can
lot, but
start
it's very interesting. Very interesting. That's
we could even start with the quadrivium, which seems kind of advanced, but is really not advanced once you start breaking it down. And that's a fun thing to draw out for people to follow because it is visually based.
it's the word. It's just how I noticed that before we even spoke. Before I, it was. I'm not going to say before I was spiritual, but before we spoke, I noticed how words were being used as a curse. Words that you wouldn't think, or words were being twisted, and words were being.
Yeah, even my name. That's my point too. Is that people just get upset when they hear it.
I mean, that's being
You know.
done on the daily. Whether that be, different laws that are going into Congress and how they're worded, or
Oh,
uh,
it's deliberate. I have a document. It was called the Leaked Panic document, and it talked about the NLP, neuro linguistic programming, of all the verbiage used during the pandemic. All the
yeah,
literature was written in code, military code of a mass ritual spell. This is not my words or opinion. This is quoted from the document, and it was talking about how they didn't even need the authorities to police people because they got it built into the programming and algorithm to get people to police each other and to attack each other, and it's all
yeah,
very accurate.
hmm yes, and it seemed to work, at least to a high level. But looking back on it now, I mean, wow, I think it woke a lot of people up. Like the past 6 years, there's been an awakening, but there are still people that they
I
don't
mean,
want to hear it.
the new version of the programming is similar, the Henta virus or whatever.
Yeah, which
It,
which means what in Hebrew?
it means nonsense, and
Yeah, for real though. This is not a joke.
just like COVID in Hebrew backwards, bivach is possession. It's just the same symbolism.
Yeah, it
of the
literally means.
of the fool, because the magi, right, is also the fool or the court jester, not just the king. It was in the ability to be close to the king and gaining his trust through humor and wit, which is where grammar, logic, and rhetoric comes into
And
play, which is the other three of the quadrivium. The first four of the quad are agma, which is arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. It's an
and
anagram
these
for maga,
yeah,
agma.
and these elites are very obsessed with like eschatology and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
It plays a lot into like the war going on right now. Like I mean, but it's we don't really hear that side too much in America. But
Well,
yeah, it's
Mind War is silent, and it ties into silent weapons. What is the website? The Silent Wars, Silent Weapons. But the point is, the tech is integrated with what's going on with the mind control and evolution of the biofield and the people. And you asked me
yeah,
about
we're
the crypto.
hackable. Hmm.
Yeah, you asked me about the crypto scam, and the scam is that people are investing in this. They don't understand the AI uses up the water. The water is what we're made up of. It is running on our own biofield at our own detriment, and people need to wake up to this because they're going to end up dehydrated and hacking themselves. and believing in something that is bringing down their very own DNA.
But people
It is
might say,
it is
but these
against.
data
It's not
plans are
for.
supporting the water. So how is he?
Well,
I'm
they
like just
don't
pushing
support
back.
the water. They don't support the water because if you hear about the recent upgrade to the water situation in California, where they have the nuclear thing that is being triggered and off, it all ties down to a computer update that they needed, but they wouldn't deal with this woman who developed some kind of system for them. She was warning them and she was saying, if you do this, it's just a computer update. Like, you need to think about what you're doing. And they didn't listen to her and they went ahead and activated this nuclear system. But within the water plants of California and other areas, then you understand that this symbolism of the Hydra, or the octopus as I called it before, is like the Kraken, which is also the same as Maga. It's the demiurge or the me urge, and that is for people to be power hungry and to focus only on themselves at the detriment of humanity and the human race.
And that
And it is
seems like
literal. It is literal.
it's going on at a high level right now.
Absolutely, which is why it represents your highness.
Mm-hmm.
Your highness literally is what Maga means, sorceress or source or king. Mag is a king, like magnificent. But not just magnificence or greatness. To be a great king, really, you need to be magnanimous. To be magnanimous is to practice benevolence and greatness with grace.
So the only way I've heard of it in America besides that movement was gesture. Um,
The Joker
uh,
symbol.
the chaos, the head
Well,
magician of chaos, basically.
remember that to be the fool or a donkey, the ass, is a play on words because that is the root of power, is humor and mirth and playfulness, and that's a misuse of power, but it also means that you can tap into the it represents the untapped creative potential. It's why it's represented by the wild card. We are the element of the wild unknown, where we can tap into our resources, and that is only as strong as our blood or DNA or the integrity of our higher awareness and mind body soul connection.
I was having a talk with someone about the hybrid thing that you brought up, and her opinion on it, and I think I might lean more towards that, is it's not everyone. That maybe it was a certain group, maybe.
Well, there's some of us are more like the origin seeds because we have different integrity in our DNA where we can remember certain things, and other people, they are living a different timeline. They might be fresher seeds and they might need more time here in this realm. But some of us have been here either many times or we have already been here before, at least, and we remember why we came here or why we are here or why we were born
Yeah.
into the family we were or what our mission is or whatever. And for everyone that is different, but it can overlap. And some of the ways that I've seen this overlap, when we were talking before about people finishing other people's conversations, we are all living fractally parts of other people's
Yeah.
lives and experiences. We are not unique completely in our experiences,
No,
which
we're
is
not.
why,
We're one consciousness, but unique
yeah,
individuals as in.